Intel reported earnings and they saw a decline in the consumer and in the data center market, which caused the stock price to drop dramatically. Unfortunately, a lot of semiconductor investors got worried. AMD recently reported earnings and they saw something a little bit different. Yes, they mentioned a slowdown in the consumer market, but they saw strong growth in the data center market. Later this month, we have Nvidia reporting earnings, and I do believe both AMD and Intel can tell us a little bit of what to expect for this company. I want to say there's probably some good and some bad news. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think is going to happen with Nvidia in their upcoming earnings? So let's get started.
I do want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out fool.com/Jose to get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
All right, so we can see this chart when Intel reported earnings and stock price dropped over 8%. For those that don't remember, Intel reported $15.3 billion in revenue, down 17% year over year. They did mention they saw a slowdown in the consumer market, which dropped their client computing group 25% compared to the same time last year. Then they mentioned their data center market, which dropped 16% due to numerous reasons. One of the reasons was competitive pressure. And if you guys watched the episode when I did Intel's earning, I did mention that I believe this was a very, very bullish case for AMD. Because of that competitive pressure, I thought it meant that AMD was going to report strong earnings. So taking a closer look at Intel, it actually kind of gave me some form of insight of what to expect for AMD. Now, if we take a closer look at AMD, unfortunately, the stock is down 1.4% after reporting earnings. But if we take a closer look in the past month, this stock is up over 30%. If we take a closer look, they did mention that their data center revenue grew dramatically, 83% year over year, and now represents $1.5 billion out of the $6.6 billion of total revenue. What else did we hear from them? We also saw overall revenue up 70%. Their client revenue, which is their CPUs, saw a 25% year-over-year growth. Unfortunately, during the earnings call, they did mention that they are seeing a softness in the PC consumer market. And if you are enjoying this episode, make sure to click the like button as it helps me kind of grow my audience. And if you want to support the channel a little bit more, make sure to subscribe using my link at fool.com/Jose. I do want to say for Nvidia investors, they did give us a little bit more insight. Even though their gaming revenue, which includes their graphics cards, was up 32% year over year, they did mention that they saw a graphics revenue decline. They didn't really mention the amount of decline that they saw, but they also mentioned that for the upcoming quarter, they do expect graphic revenue to be down as well. They do believe on quarter 4 sequentially they will grow back up because of new product releases. So pretty much this is what they're saying. Quarter 2, they saw a weakness in graphics card. Quarter 3, they expect a similar weakness in graphics card quarter to quarter and year over year. Quarter 4, they expect a quarterly increase in graphics card, but maybe not a yearly increase in graphics cards. We also saw that the data center market is still pretty strong if you're releasing innovative products. So now how can we take that information to Nvidia as they do report earnings in the upcoming weeks, August 24th after the market closes? We can see this is also a stock that's up about 25% in the past month alone. So unfortunately, I do want to say with the stock price increase in the past month, this is a stock that if they have similar returns by the time earnings come, it has to be a near perfect earnings. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. And let me just say, even though maybe this quarter might be weak, it's not going to tell me to sell any of my shares because I am a long-term holder, but it does get me mentally prepared to some of the risk I might see. And this is the risk that I see. We did see from AMD that, hey, the data center market is still pretty strong. But we did see from Intel that, hey, maybe if you are a big market shareholder in the data center space, you might be losing out a little bit due to maybe OEM corrections of inventory. So the data center, while I do believe has the possibility of seeing growth, I don't believe it's going to be to similar growth it has been in the past. Now, if we take a closer look at the gaming market, I do believe both AMD and Intel give us a little bit more of a dire case. We saw that both companies reported a decline in the consumer market. One thing AMD had in store for them is they have a little bit smaller of a market share compared to Intel in the CPU market. Nvidia is the leader in the discrete market share, so I do believe their kind of gaming segment might share a little bit more with what Intel saw. So I do believe their gaming market is going to see a nice drop quarter over quarter. Fortunately, we have seen other semiconductor companies discuss the kind of automotive industry, and I do believe the automobile industry, even though it's still a small portion of total revenue, it is going to be one that is growing at impressive levels. So I just want to say, as an Nvidia investors, I am prepared for a very volatile quarter, but in the long term of things, I'm still super bullish. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.